Welcome back to the wide world of Dota. That's for all Australian people out there that actually watch the wide world of sports.
Is that a normal thing to say there?
Yeah, it is. Because
okay, can we make sure that doesn't bleed over to Dota? Because it's...
So what do you have for like America? We had like the wide world of sports. There's like Channel 9's thing. So you see sports everywhere when you tuned in.
I don't know. I don't watch that many sports. I can't. I'm not the right caster to ask this. You got to go like Blitz in here or something.
Yeah, Blitz. But Blitz just checks Reddit for any kind of updates. He doesn't actually watch it, right?
I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you actually... I don't want to talk about this anymore. Can we
Neither do I. Let's move on. Let's talk about a great game. Like a terrific series coming up right now. Team Secret. Let's actually focus on them to begin with. What do we think about their current stand, like their current strength?
I think they're really good, obviously. There's a lot of talk at VG.J that they were arguably the best team in the world. Maybe that isn't the case right now. Maybe there's a slight upset between other teams. I think there's a little bit of shuffling going on right now. I'm not saying that they're out of top four. They're definitely top four, for sure. But are they the best right now? Maybe they've fallen off a little bit, but just a tiny bit. Or maybe the other teams have slightly surpassed them. They're still very good.
Yeah. It seems like they always, they had these problems when they fell over, like that fifth pick, I think tripped them up a lot. Yeah. During at least Katowice. So I'd like to see like what happens when they have like a full even draft. Kind of play.
That's a typical Puppy thing, anyways, right? He doesn't stick to normal drafts. He always changes it up a little bit.
He's very stubborn on that front. But
yeah, there's a couple of heroes that they pick that nobody else does. They pick 4 positions like Zeus and Skywrath Mage. He picked support Wraith King. They pick Lone Druid all the time.
Yep.
And no other team really picks Lone Druid much. So it's at least like very few other teams. So he's always a little bit outside of the meta. He always picking stuff that he likes or he thinks is good. I can relate to that. I like doing that in pubs. Usually it doesn't help me because then I just lose. But
I do like how too he crafts players into these roles. He thinks it can be really good. Yeah. So like Ace, for example, played for a very long time on tier 2, even tier 3 teams, joined up in Team Secret, then all of a sudden becomes this really hard-working tier 1 player that is on par with any of the ones who are out there. And like the one he's going actually up against is going to be quite huge as well. Like he's going up against a legend of the game in Sylar.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely seems like what Puppy does is he grabs these really good players that are a little bit under the radar and snags them and grabs them on his team. And yeah, here's basically a new school carry with an old school carry. Ace versus Sylar, these are the guys to watch probably. Both Lone Druid players, both very talented at the carry position. And it's fun to see Sylar playing on a good team again.
Yeah. I think there's a bit of a difference there between the two of them, right? Like with Ace, he seems to be getting a lot more involved in the team fights earlier on as well. So like gets his out of a Lone Druid, then all gets in there. You see the hero damage being different.
That makes sense. Your GPM's lower because you're busy fighting or waiting for fights. And if you're not fighting as much, you're farming more, which means your GPM and hero damage are lower. So
hey, if Anti-Mage was still a real hero, we could really see the display of that. But
that's true.
He's not a hero.
I mean, I'm sure Ace can play that hero really well. So I feel like historically he used to. Can't remember though. Long time ago.
Yeah, long time ago. Yeah. If we want to go back to when Rise was a professional gamer.
Maybe he'll.
That actually wasn't that. That wasn't like a year ago, right?
I feel like wasn't he just on a team? Like
was he? I'm sorry, Rise. I don't mean to give you crap.
I mean,
but,
those Danish teams have been around since like the Dota 1 to Dota 2 transition. So we're talking like 7 years ago, basically. So it feels like a long time ago, but some of them still have longevity, as Ace has.
See, I'm just happy that Ace can prove that Danish players can be successful, same as No-Tail.
Come on, there are so many good Danish, but we just saw Crit win a series against Team Liquid.
They make really good commentators as well. I'm talking about Malk, of course, not that other guy.
I figured this was going to be a Malk flame, but it's not fair to like throw all of Denmark under the Malk joke, because there's so many good Danish players.
Yeah,
actually.
But maybe that is the problem. Like Malk's stench just reeks of for all Danes, and every other Dane has to work 10 times as hard to recover.
Yeah, it's going to be really hard for Malk to be a successful businessman that works for Optic Gaming. I mean, he's really not working out in esports, man. That's Malk just having a tough life.
So Optic Gaming needs to win more tournaments first before we can.
Hey, what are you talking to? They almost won 2-0 today. They were very close. Like
I'm not even talking Dota. I'm talking everything else with a really successful win.
Hey. They'll be fine. Oh, yeah, we know the draft is there. No problem.
Yeah,
promise we saw this.
Yeah, we've been watching it. We're just enjoying the bans before we start focusing on our Nyx Assassin first pickup and Elder Titan for VG.J.
So Elder Titan opening just really safe. Transitions in a lot of ways, makes your lane strong. If they happen to go for a Nature's Prophet support, you're covered, dude. You can wreck that in the laning stage. Secret with a slightly curious opening with the Nyx first pick. And they'll pair that with an AA as well. So very very possible that these are the dual lanes, or the two supports that is Nyx and AA.
It'll be very likely. It's Puppey and YapzOr in a nutshell, and YapzOr is such an interference hero, be him playing Rubik or the Nyx Assassin, so that works right.
And Puppey is always very effective at 5 positions that can't super well defend themselves. I feel like very often is kind of his playstyle. A can do that by murdering people, but definitely needs some ally support. And gives some good tri-lane potential too.
I am interested to see, like, when you ban out Ancient Apparition, when you pick up Ancient Apparition after you ban out both Death Prophet as well as, like, Omni Knight.
It's not as much about the ulti. Like, it's very easy to look at the anti-healing that AA provides, because at times in Dota that was one of the things that you had to do occasionally, but it's not so much about that. AA is actually really good at lanes right now because of Chilling Touch. Chilling Touch has finally been buffed in the way that makes pros not scared to skill it more than once, and that it doesn't lower your attack speed. So the scaling on the ability is actually incredible. By like level 4, it's like 450 magic damage per player if you use all the attacks. So makes your laning stage really good, and between like Cold Feet and Chilling Touch and an Ice Vortex, you have a lot of damage potential.
So VG.J have gone for ET and Disruptor. Only downside about this lineup is the fact they don't have any instant control.
That's true, but their laning stage is okay. They can also punish their opponents. Using Disrupt ulti against a hero like Nyx can really help in some of the team fights. I think it's just like a playstyle preference. It's not necessarily like a these heroes beat your heroes kind of a situation. But at the least with Glimpse, even if your opponents have really good laning potential, if you can just rotate Disrupt over and catch people, it should guarantee kills. Kind of helps for the disable that Elder Titan's sometimes lacking in the laning stage too.
What are the heroes, like the cores that normally get paired with Disruptor and ET? Like, you see the Storm being banned out by Secret, what would be their final one?
Honestly, you can kind of do whatever you want, I feel like. Storm is probably something like Scrim Practice. They've experienced it, or maybe they know that VG.J Thunder does draft the hero a lot, but I think that was more of a defensive thing. Like, Nyx Assassin is technically good against Storm because of disable stuff, but I also feel like when Nyx is scouting the map, Storm is amazing at guaranteeing a catch on him as well. So, and A is certainly very vulnerable to Storm. He can't really do much at all about preventing that death. So it's one of the ways that Puppey can protect himself here.
Well, they ban out the tiny VG.J. Even with the nerf, they're still, rightly so, scared to have let that hero get through. I love that too. Like, we talk about like the classics when we look at like a player like Sylar playing that one position for VG.J, but actually having Puppey drafting against ROTK, because ROTK sitting down in the seat drafting. He takes over Fade's chair during this period.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a lot of history there.
Yeah,
a lot of very old Dota players in this game, and Dota careers, definitely not age. Everybody's a bunch of youngins. You know what I mean, Toby? Us with our 3 decades or whatever of life, and all these youngins with their mere low 20 years of age.
Don't remind me of my age. I already feel too old when I hang around people like OD. I'm like, God damn.
He is a youngin, though.
He is such a youngin. Lifestealer ban out. Another targeted hero at Ace and Invoker. Hello.
Please be Quaswex. Please be Quaswex. Probably not going to be
Exort. Please be Exort.
The Quaswex build has been buffed. It's still sort of bad, but it's really fun to watch.
I just like the Exort build for when you're able to go for these like easy ganks across the map. You get the it's just that momentum into
What do you mean across the map? It's more like you're standing either mid or at the Ancients or the jungle, and then you just Sunstrike.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Across the map, it's like I'm going to put one ability across the map.
Exactly.
While I stand still in front.
It's like Zeus saying, I will lend my Thunder God's wrath in order for me to kill secure, and then get bigger, and eventually I'll carry the team.
It's certainly a pretty good Invoker game, though. At least right now, the Disable setup, the Magic Amplification, the heroes he's against have really low armor, so his right clicks will be really beefy. I think it's an okay opening. It's a little bit surprising to see it picked right here.
I think it's hard to gank him is probably the harder thing. Like, Disruptor and ET are not going to be able to roam in and just get up in the face.
It's a little harder, yeah. Especially like a Cold Snap, if they're out of position, is going to be really dangerous. But I believe this is why they banned out TA as well as the Storm. It's just more lane matchup advantages that Invoker would have had a little bit of trouble with, and scaling, he would have had a lot of trouble against the Storm. So protected themselves in a couple different ways there. So kind of curious to see why they opened Invoker rather than picked it as their 4th pick, but maybe it'll be revealed.
We flagged the same warning bells we had for the Nature's Prophet. We remember like all the games that Fada played on Invoker and Black's offlane Invoker, like the influence of the Germans to run the offlane Invoker.
We are not going to see an offlane Invoker because mid one is the Invoker player. They banned mid heroes that are good against Invoker. It's going to be mid, but it definitely seems a little early to pick the hero. To me, And
I
guess
Juggernaut.
lets them adjust their carry a little bit better, which is probably more important, right? Because if they ban out the heroes that beat Invoker in the matchup really heavily, just adjust their next carry with the response, and now they know the offlane versus carry matchup. So still not the best disable on Secret side, which is a bit of a downer, because right now Nyx is probably the only one that can really set up a Sunstrike kill, but maybe it'll still be Quaswax. You never know, man.
Yeah. You can get the disable out from Farda's hero. Like, they've still got one of the most popular offlaners still in the pool, which is the Beastmaster. I don't know if you'll instantly synergize with this lineup.
I feel like it's like selective. Kind of depends on the team. Lycan, definitely a solid pick here. Very good against heroes that can't protect themselves against physical. That's Invoker and that's AA. Like, they cannot stop a Lycan from running him down. Yep. At best, you can Tornado, Cold Snap, Deafening Blast, something like that, but from the early to the mid game, they're going to have trouble against a Lycan. Lycan's going to be able to push towers pretty well. Even like Juggernaut is not happy about this, because if he Omni Slashes, Lycan's going to have dudes there. Yeah. Unless the Wolves betray him and go invisible or something like that. But
so how does Team Secret get over this? Like, it's got to be their offlaner, right? Yeah. Like, do you get something more like a Faceless Void, which is more of an old school combination with an Exort build? Lock him in that way before they can go out.
Not a fan of the Void. I do see that it does, you're right. It does
the
combo.
Synergy with AA and Invoker.
Yeah, it combos with their team. I'm just not a big fan of the hero right now. I feel like it wouldn't be bad against Lycan in lane, I guess. Against
running
Disruptor,
just like a 3 not a 1, so he's not like that damage dealer. He's just that control factor.
I'm not a big fan of that. I feel like Fada can do that with different heroes. Like, I think that's too farm heavy for the heroes that Fada normally plays. Like, I'd prefer they just even do something like a Puck or something. Like, something that has less farm need to do damage, is more levels based.
His Dream Core and Silence would be great against Brewmaster Lycan, yeah.
And then Fada can still buy an item like a Shadow Blade or something that lets him set up ganks. I would prefer that for Secret's playstyle. Or maybe something that has just like some kind of like a blink stun or some way to set up Sunstrikes himself. It doesn't have to be a 150-second cooldown ultimate kind of a thing. Is
there a support that you would actually move instead? So you like Fada can just take the Nyx to the off?
I just don't think Nyx off is very good right now. It's pretty much like late parts of the game. It's a support essentially. You're looking for kills. You're not ganking, or you're not farming and stuff like that. So
they banned the Phantom Assassin. Yeah, would have been a hard hero matchup for the Juggernaut with a little bit of help. Actually, no, for the.
They could have put it at mid against Invoker as well, but it's another physical damage hero that gets minus armor. Yeah. It would be good against Invoker and A in the same way that Lycan is decent. So definitely a pretty good ban there. PA is like a hero that is like very selectively good, but as a whole, not a good hero. It's probably the right way to describe it. So last ban here, Secret is looking for either, if they do Nyx offlane, it's either Nyx or their true offlane hero. And VG.J Thunder, I guess, is kind of vulnerable. They don't, maybe to team fight or something like that. Yeah, that would have been really good. Good way, a little bit of lane strength, can dual offlane. Ravage is obviously great for setting up more combos and creating some space. It would have been really good against Lycan as well. Just anchor smash all of the creeps, Ravage all of the creeps, and it gives Secret a couple seconds to actually turn and get a kill of their own.
Okay. Gyrocopter for VG.J. He's been the go-to hero for a lot of teams.
I imagine that's going to be a Gyro mid. That's probably what we're looking at here.
Gyro versus Invoker.
I don't think it's too bad. I mean, Invoker is going to have a Forge Spirit to tank Rocket Barrage damage, but maybe I'm wrong here because his range is a little bit low. Maybe Invoker does have some advantages there, but I feel like if there's a roam in from Elder Titan, for example, then Gyro, like if Elder Titan gets 2 and does like a Spirit Stomp, they can definitely set up a kill, Gyro versus Invoker here.
I said Bristle.
Okay, so it's just...
Wait, hang on. It is going to be Fada's Bristle, right?
I'm pretty sure it'll be Fada's Bristle. So it's kind of like a different version of tankiness in that it doesn't really have a lot of disable, but he can basically just sit in his lane constantly and harass the safe lane. And a little bit of support can make him do stuff.
Can Juggernaut push to the offlane to work with Poppy and Yapstor so you get the Bristle versus Brew matchup? Like, who really comes out on top when you have that kind of matchup?
That one sounds a little, definitely Bristle favored, I would feel, because I feel like he could always threaten potential Quill kills, But if he is pressured by Brew, he can just walk away and won't take as much damage. But I think they're going to want to put Bristle in the off lane because he's definitely a hero that's able to aggressively pressure an opponent like Lycan. Lycan's armor has been nerfed repeatedly.
Yep.
He's got a lot of regen. But if you're Quill stacking on him and you've got Goo and he's not 6 yet, he's going to have a bit of a problem. So they could even aggressively tri-lane, but I think it'll be more like Yapsor will start in the off lane with Bristle, or maybe Ancient Apparition will go there. And then they'll just kind of rotate their supports around making kills happen while Ace has a relatively good safe lane as well against Bristle. They can just do dual lanes and then rotate the other support to make tri-lanes occasionally happen, and I think they can get a lot done on the map here.
Would you still go the Crosswex build over on mid one for this? Like, turn him into that fast-moving hunter? It's
really not bad here, but I think they'll probably commit to the Exort build. It's definitely more refined. It has better longevity for sure in the game. I'm just kind of like mechanics nerd ready for Crosswex. That's all. It's not great. It has a lot of weaknesses.
As a hype lover, I will be ready for the Exort build.
He will get the Exort build. I would say 90% for sure. Let's check. Does he have Sunstrike?
Yeah, where's he go? Where's he go? Where's he go? Into the game. Into the game. Into the game we go.
He went Quas.
No!
Oh, it's happening maybe.
No!
All right, probably happening. Hashtag happening. Because if you're Exort, if you're going Sunstrike, you definitely get Exort. But we'll see. There is still a chance, okay? He's going Wand first. I think he's going Crosswex. So what's really cool is the previous 0.3 tornado second lift time, the worst talent in the game, because that perk at 10 for Invoker to the right was equivalent to him getting an extra point of Quas. Except the extra point of Quas is better because it would make his Quas points better and his skills better. It was the worst talent in the game. Terrible. They buffed it now, so by level 10, I believe, Invoker can do a Tornado into Meteor Hammer combo. With this perk. Before, you would have to be like level 11 or something. So if he's doing this build, it is potentially good because a lot of the VG.J Thunder heroes have some limited mana pool. So if you can get an EMP Tornado on these guys, it's definitely going to affect their ability to fight, and then it's going to allow Secret to run them down probably with the heroes they have.
Well,
if he commits to this. We'll see.
You can watch it closely and give us running updates throughout the game. As far as our lanes go, let's have a quick little squiz through all of this. So is Fana going to be playing the off lane with the Bristleback? Mid one will be the mid Invoker. Yapsor roaming around as the Nyx Assassin. That puts Puppey and Ace up on top. They'll be going up against VG.J's aggressive lane, ET Gyro, as well as Disrupt together being Freeze, DDC, and Fade. And then Yang actually bouncing around himself. He's actually moving up towards the top now. Sylar is body blocking the wave in mid for them, and I assume it's then going to be does he just TP to the bottom?
He'll probably stay there. I think Gyro's going to go all the way bottom is what it looks like to me.
Okay.
I mean, they're just trying to get these favorable matchups, right? Like
so Lycan versus Invoker.
Lycan has regen, and if he does commit to Crosswex, this really sucks for Invoker because you do not get a lot of damage with this build. You're pretty much reliant on going for a fast phase boots, and if he's against a Lycan and Lycan hits for 70 damage without a Quelling Blade, mid one is going to have a lot of trouble getting last hits, unless he's amazing.
Stun's going to be coming onto Freeze as Fada. Okay, I thought they might get a little bit more damage. I think they're trying to get this, because it's no mana burn on Yapsor. So he's gone stun and quills for Fada, so they're just trying to get in the face of this safe lane.
Yeah, so VG.J is just moving their heroes around to give them the favorable matchups. The Invoker versus Lycan one shouldn't be that great for an Invoker. I'll see last hits amazingly, which I trust mid one to do. And then on the top lane, it's what? Brewmaster plus Elder Titan versus Jug and an AA.
And they're going to be doing nothing but fighting inside the lanes. Both sides actually used Observables to block the pool camps. So neither of these camps will spawn for a long time.
They just don't like neutrals, that's all. Invoker having a little bit of trouble. 3-2 last hits. Pretty much everybody across the map is having some issues here in last hit.
Glimpse. Yapsor back down again. Fana copying a little bit more of the damage. Both Yapsor and Fana, very hard to kill heroes, especially when they're running full wands at the beginning. But you've got 9 1 charges on the Gyrocopter. He wins the battle with the cool sprays coming out from Fada.
Seems like there's a lot of regen in this game, actually. Everybody's got wands and mangoes. Ace has 2 mangoes himself.
The other ones who don't is like, well, then again, Silas not spamming abilities against mid one.
Yeah, there's not really much to spam here, right?
Yeah.
Cast Feral Impulse. So he is going Crosswex, guaranteed. Yeah, 2 Quas, 1 Wex. He's got Tornado picked up. This is essentially a last hitting ability for now. Honestly, not the most last hits right now. 2 minutes here, nobody's broken 10 just yet.
Yep, Lycan only just manages to do it. Yang very, very low, can be forced off that top lane, or at least forced into salve usage. This is while Fade was away picking up both the bounty runes. Yapsor still hasn't claimed his own bounty rune yet.
It's more important to be in lane because with Bristleback, you can always get these kills, right? As soon as you get a good disable on somebody that's out of position, if you can get like 4 or 5 cool sprays, that's a big pickup. And that can snowball into a faster boots, which lets you pressure the Gyrocopter, for example. If you can kill him, then the enemy carry's not as farmed, and the game gets easier.
I think Fada's trying to like stack up a couple of quills onto the Gyrocopter and see if YapzOr can get a good stun into potential Spike Carapace. But they're just not getting that opportunity yet. And this is the downside, right, about going Quas-Wex. There is no bonus damage to help either lane set up for an extra kill. Like Yang being insanely low on life before, if they can keep his position predictable.
It's just really hard for him to last hit with this build. It's a huge negative of it.
Oh, they're going now on YapzOr. Real issues, doesn't have a lot of life. And Freeze will get that Bristleback bounced out. Half a second to get the bounty rune. Half a second's long enough. VG.J strike.
Niken's doing really well. 19-3 versus the 12-3 of Invoker. I've seen mid one miss a couple last hits in that he wasn't forced. They weren't forced errors or anything. It's just he only does just barely over. He does 70 damage now. He just picked up his first blades of attack.
Yeah,
it's very tough to get last hits here. Puppey looking like he's gonna go down top here. It's gonna be close.
Yeah, underneath the tower. Fade will chase him. Cold Feet and Spirit will do the work. Yang is not a healthy man. If Ace had, he's already used his spin to bring Yang down that low. So VG.J with 2 early kills.
And that's basically all Jug can do, right? Like, if your support's being pressured, you just got to try to get your own trade kill.
Well, this is a nice action rune. A bottle of haste rune for Fada.
That's so good on Bristle.
Yeah. If you can get that cold snap onto Sylar, I thought maybe you can have a crack at mid before he hits level 6, but Fada's just gone back down to the bottom lane.
That would have been a hard one.
Got to contest the pull.
These guys are definitely more vulnerable anyways. It's a huge threat for him right now having this haste rune. He can dive towers, he can bottle through tower hits. Doesn't have the most armor, he's got 1 point in Bristleback. But I think Fada's the hero to watch here. At some point he's going to try to get a kill, and he's definitely very capable. Just Glimpse is the only really dangerous thing.
Yep.
He's can really shut that down.
I suppose VG.J sit back as well. Like, yeah, Fada triggers Hazer and he can jump the bottom, mid lane. Sylar's going to get EMP burned out completely. Finally, mid one gets aggressive on him. And then Brewmaster actually TP'd in, so that they're going to switch their lanes and send Sylar into the jungle. Glimpse, come on back over here, Fada, back underneath the tier 1 tower. Freeze doesn't want to get too close to this, but with the homing missile and the Thunderstrike damage and the damage from the tower, Fada's trying to bottle through it all. He might be able to. Yeah, he will. And still has salve available. YapzOr got really close to DDC, but ET, the Spirit Stomp will come in. Spike Carapace didn't save him from this, but Fada, with that haste turn, he's back into the fight, looking for the kill on the Freeze. Has to get the distance, but YapzOr, the double stun is great. It bought time to the wall. It won't do enough. The goo is out, and Fada, he can't close the distance. Instead, he goes back over towards Fade, who has 4 Quill Spray stacked on him. They dodge the stun from the stomp. YapzOr also got hit by the missile, but it won't stop Fade from dying. He's too slow with the 3 stacks of Nasal Goo on him, and both Freeze and DDC are forced back to the shrine.
Yeah, it was a good moment for VG.J to force out the haste rune. Fada getting a little worried about the missile. Kind of wasted a lot of his haste just sprinting away from it. Probably should have just committed. Probably could have killed the gyro, but either way, they do still get a kill. And if you can get this bounty as well, oh, he feels so slow.
He at least gets the bounty. Couple of 1 charges. YapzOr needs to create some space. Doesn't get the stun to Sylar. They're going to lose both. Flat cannon from Gyrocopter. Not only will it help him get the kills, they'll let him farm up the stack, which was being pulled out to the side.
Huge pickups there. Big double kill. And now Bristle's sitting in kind of a weird place. Level 4. He's got goo, only 1 point in his Bristleback. And on the bright side, mid one is getting plenty of mana to drain from his opponents. But I mean, I don't think Bristle really cares that much. If he can't be threatened physically, then all he has to do is just continue last hitting, using his Quelling and his Stout Shield. But at least mid one's also able to collect decent last hits at this point. He's got 30. Everybody's kind of behind this game, except for like Lycan. It's a low last hit game.
Yeah, so as you said, like, yeah, the Brew can just sit there with almost no mana and just be a drunken brawler.
But the big difference will come in a bit. Now that Invoker has phase boots, he actually hits decently hard, and he'll be able to transition into ganks by using EMP Tornado. And if they get good initiations and drain full mana pools, fight can absolutely change, and it can become just a you run them down solution, and that should give Secret a big advantage with heroes like Bristle.
Yeah. I always worry, like, I suppose when Lycan's already got his helmet, the Dominator, like, he doesn't really care about going jungle. He's still got the #1 net worth on the field.
Yeah, especially with this Hellbear picked up. Another 15 attack speed for him and his allies.
Is this something the Team Secret can really slow down? Like, I see 2 Observer Wards watching perfectly the bottom river, so whenever Yapsor rotates, like, VG.J will know if he's gone into the jungle.
He is so safe right now. The only big, scary abilities on the map are Omni Slash, which hasn't gotten yet, and maybe like an Ice Blast, and he's always going to be full HP jungling as well, just because Helm regens so much, as does Feral Impulse. Like, him and all of his creeps here are getting 14 HP per second at the moment. Like, he can jungle endlessly. So great move, and it's going to create an extra lane for an opponent, which is further unpunished because they're up against a Quaswex Invoker.
Yeah, and it's an ET. Like, ET never really puts himself at risk. VG.J brought Yang up to the top lane just in case things are going to get a little bit too rough.
And Secret's sitting around looking for some kills, but the offlane went poorly enough that Gyro's now 6. Bristol's only level 4. I would say that they didn't like convincingly lose the offlane, but it didn't look great.
They're going into mid. EMP Tornado onto Yang. He's trying to get the split off. Cannot do so. Yapsor's the neighborhood. The stun will come, but Sylar as well as DDC, they're already preparing to gank this mid. So mid one, he'll go invis, but revealed by the dust. There's no way to escape for Yapsor as well. Glimpse back over the Spike Carapace. We'll get on to 3, but there's just too much damage. You've got 13 1 charges, but it will not stop Sylar in dog form from getting the kill onto the tier 1.
And this is the problem. You can drain their mana with EMP Tornado, but you don't do anything afterwards. He had Cold Snap, he uses Ghost Walk, but they had the dust prepared appropriately, and then he just goes down. Not survivable enough, can't stop the gank. And that's his 3 spells. He's got Cold Snap, he's got Ghost Walk, and he's got Tornado, nothing else. And he's not going to have anything else for a while. He's actually not going to go the Meteor Hammer build, he's going to go for an Orchid instead, which does help him gank better in the mid game.
He's going to go into DDC now, so maybe you get this kill. No, wall and EMP burn. It's not enough even with the extra attack from mid one. Got stalled up on the creep wave.
It looked like he didn't attack when he could have. Maybe he thought he did. Maybe a misclick. One more Cold Snap and he would have gotten the mana drain. Maybe would have killed him.
He might have lost vision up the hill too.
It's possible, yeah. It seemed a little... I might have misseen it, but...
Yeah. It did seem odd. Like, he started the combination, but there was no heavy follow-up.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of this could also be just unfamiliarity. I'm sure it's really tough when you've been playing nothing but, like, Exhort Quas for, like, a year to instantly go to a different build. It's got to be hard.
Oh, yeah. At least he's got 7-1 charges, so getting back up to enough mana to split isn't impossible.
It's certainly helpful to drain the mana pool of an entire hero. That's got to feel good.
Yeah.
He's going ultimately negative on that combo because he's casting 3 spells.
Ace.
But
Trouble. Cooldown's there. Homing missiles right behind him. Ace healing ward. Trying to buy just enough life. DDC will finally get rid of it. Omni Slash? No. No reason to commit him. They wouldn't have survived. Now Yapsor again. How many times must this happen? Glimpse back in. Wait, what? The Centaur from the camp? Nah, Yapsor's still gone. He'll get himself a 3-man stun too. He's got his own TP and 10-1 charges. So he'll make him work. Spike Carapace is available. He'll trigger it off. At least it stuns on the ET as well as DDC. And he'll finally bring him down. 4 heroes to kill Yapsor. Of course, they got Ace at the start of it all.
Man, they make him work for that one. Holy crap. And in the meantime, they're still farming a little bit. Bristleback's picking up some last hits. He's got a Vanguard of his own. And Invoker City mid slapping towers, but...
And burning mana. Goodbye Yang's mana again.
But again, no potential to kill here.
Do you always bypass when you go Quaswex to Midas?
Yes, very common to do so, because Midas just elongates your late game.
Stun him. Got him. Cold Snap. The tower gets killed off by the Dire, and Yang gets killed off by mid one.
And that's the thing, like, it's very disable heavy. And you can help get kills, but you can't really kill solo. I mean, I guess both Invoker builds kind of do that, but...
Where's the TP support? Fighter's going to try and run around. The tower doesn't want to move away from it, because that's where his TP support comes in. Sylar, that's a lot of cool spray stacks, and Ace, no! He jumps back into the minions! You said it during the draft, and it's proven right now. While there's too many friends around the like him, the Omni Slash is just not effective, especially with the 3-jumper.
It's a really good attempt. That would have been a huge kill for Secret, but putting that on cooldown, Omni Slash, is very unfortunate, because now Jug is going to have to go back to farming. If you can get a kill every time you do an Omni Slash rotation, completely changes your farm level, especially in a game like this where Secret's last rotations are not working out great. With that said, though, they're still farming amazing. They have a very tiny net worth lead right now, which means that even though they're losing these rotations, that in the long run, it might not matter much.
I think it's the Brewmaster, though. Like, you see the bleeding and the net worth is on him. which is quite a critical hero. Like, Yang can't have any mana to do anything, but it delays his Blink Dagger more than anything.
But they did feel like somebody had to go mid to stop the tower pressure.
The rotation. Fada's going to walk straight into the smoke gank of VG.J, starting with an Ace on DDC. They need to create space, so he puts down the Storm. Fada tries to sign the kinetic field, not taking that much damage, and he's got one shot, just Ice Blast. It's going to chill and actually connect onto DDC. The follow-up's done, Yapsol waits it out. Yang, he wants to go into the split. He's got the one charge available. The Dust reveals the Nixus out, but the cool sprays from Fada. They're still building up. He's waiting for Yang to split, or maybe he just kills him. Okay, there's the split. Everyone back underneath the tower. Maybe Missile will keep Fada there. His cool spray stacks will do some decent work. The Vanguard will keep him alive, but it won't do enough. The MP burn is very defensive. So 2 heroes lost from Team Secret as the Brewmaster chaos continues. The glimpse back on the Pumpy after the Earth Ruler got the stun, and it's just too good. The Ice Blast, it does connect on Yang. It's an opportunity for mid one, but not when there's that much support from VG.J. All 5 heroes in this mid lane just forcing the issue.
They're trying their best to slow this down, but they just can't stop their opponents from running out. They basically need to all go in at the same time, if possible, if they can find that opportunity. It has to be like mid one, Tornado EMP in a team, as they follow up with like a Nyx stun, as they do Ice Blast, but instead it's like, it always feels like Yapsor getting initiated on kind of, or somebody else gets initiated on, and Yapsor's trying to defend that person. It hasn't quite worked out here. Yeah, Yapsor caught in the jungle here, trying to get out. I love his skill build. The very low cooldown on Spike Carapace gives him tons of time here. But unfortunately, nobody else on the team could slow them down enough. I think maybe if mid one had not used EMP in the top of the river previously in the fight, this could have gone better. You would have been able to do a combo there, but once you have only one Tornado or one EMP, it's very difficult to affect the team fight in a strong way.
Yep. Now we get to come back alive as mid one was playing around that Roche bit. He's got finally 1 point in Exort value.
Fada's going to be doing Ancient Clearing right now, so this will give him a little bit of a boost. He actually really needs levels. In that previous fight, I think he only had 1 point of Bristleback.
They're running mid. The Storm, it doesn't actually catch mid one perfectly. Yapsol's coming in through the rear. The Rocket Barrage is nice on the mid one. The ET split up. Also making it difficult for Yapsor and Pumpy to help out, but now Fada rotates in, freezing bait. Nowhere really to go. Pumpy's holding that Ice Blast. Finally will connect onto the Gyrocopter. Primary target for them, and they'll claim him. Disruptor, the Spike Carapace from Yapsor actually catching him for a moment. So Pumpy and Yapsor teaming up against the Disruptor. He's got no abilities to really work with. Yang can come back into the mid, but he can't really chase this. Phase boots or not, no tier 1 tower. That ain't happening.
That was a really good fight for Secret there.
Oh, Ace. I don't think you want to be here either. He just used spin on bottom lane. Ooh. A quick pause. Fade was coming in through the rear. He's got the Spirit down, and Sylar just went into dog form and burnt the Necro Book. So I think Ace at this point is dead.
It's not looking good.
The Battle Fury is coming on the Courier right now, okay. So I don't know if Omni/, level 1 clearance is what he's thinking.
I think the only way he lives here is if the Stomp doesn't catch him and he's able to juke through trees using the Quelling maybe, but we'll see. It's going to be a hard survive, and he doesn't want to use Omni/. If he does, he's a bit limited in gank potential, which he still kind of needs.
Oh, Ace. There's the Stomp, and there's the death.
Not even close to survive.
No. Here's the wonderful options of how you can escape. No, none of them can be taken.
Yeah, it was too tough. The Spirit positioning was perfect. I don't even know if he was aware that the Elder Titan was there before that fight, before that escape started. So
yeah, their Observer Ward's a little bit too deep in the Radiant jungle to really see that rotation.
And there's a blink coming for Brewmaster now, so team fight should be even easier for Thunder to start.
Yep, Sol's on the hunt. He's found a friend. Ice Blast is available. You'll have a level 1 Sunstrike, potentially.
Watch out.
That's really ineffective damage.
But this, if you aren't going to go the Meteor Hammer build, this is super normal for Invoker Quasfex. Usually you'd have to get an item that does help you kind of transition into kills. And Orchid's a way to do that. If you can actually catch somebody, Tornado EMP into Orchid, Cold Snap is a really good solution.
Does he actually win the foot race against Sylar in dog form? In Shapeshift?
No, of course, because Shapeshift you go over max movement speed now. So he'll be really fast though. I mean, the Wex build is potentially good. He grabs a DD here, pops Ghost Walk, and he's like, gonna try to get a solo kill. He doesn't have his Orchid finished.
It's in his stash. The recipe's in his stash, but he's looking at Fate.
Yeah,
so here comes the Ice Blast. He Cold Snaps and trying to hold him there. The Ice Blast did not connect. And now, well, Tornado just creates a little bit more space. He got Invoke in 1 second, but the Stomp will hold him there. And how quick? Can't do jack. Pumpy can TP. Stomp will not connect on him. and no extra crit to get the kill.
Yeah, I think he did the best he could there. Unfortunately, with the Ice Blast missing and the Cold Snap just being on the edge there, he needed like Orchid for that fight to work, and they got back up instantly. With that kill, they walked straight into Roche. Super easy Roche kill. Benefits from the Necro. They don't have a medallion, but it just doesn't matter. Roche dies instantly.
Yeah. They're nearby, at least, Team Secret, but it all comes too late. Maybe, actually, it should not have come at all. Fada locked inside the kinetic field. The Ice Blast is off target, so Fada can cool spray all he wants, but he's surrounded by Necro Books, getting burnt out.
And mostly he's just dying to magic damage.
Oh,
like,
they got another one, too. Oh, okay. Instant wall, nowhere to run.
Oh, that's so sick.
Chain feeding of all 3 cores now of Team Secret.
That was so cool. And he did that while busy fighting against the Bristleback. Just like, let's see if I can get another hero. Finds him, throws him up in the air for 6 seconds. It's perfectly easy disruptor ulti. And they kill the enemy carry off of that. Like, they're losing 16-4, but the gold graph is still not bad. It looks way worse than it actually is.
Yep, so I don't know exactly what you're trying to achieve here.
Not dying, I'm sure.
He can't TP. Like, Freeze went into the trees, and now... Okay, well, okay, he can't achieve not dying.
Yeah. He had used his TP previously. Must have TP'd the lane or something.
Yeah.
He's also trying to get a Meteor Hammer, but it's not looking good. Either way, they're creating some space. The problem is just that Fada's not super survivable right now. He's actually dying to magic damage, I believe. It was things like ET Aura and Rocket Barrage, for example.
But once he finishes the Crimson Guard, then at least they have an answer to the Gyrocopter's damage.
Except for the magic part.
It's going to take both Crimson Guard and Pipe.
Yes, he definitely is going to need a pipe this game. And I understand why he won all the physical survivability against like Gyro and Lycan and stuff like that, but maybe he should have gone a Hood before he finished Solar Crest. Might have been, or at least go like Medallion into Hood, might have been superior. Either way, they basically, Secret needs to take fights where Gyro's focused, and then the rest of the team can impact on other heroes.
Puppey. He came on a warning mission. Ice Blast connects onto the Gyrocopter. Ace is nearby, but Puppey, the homing missile, will finish him off from Freeze. And they can look towards the next target, the Glimpse. Fada, he gets outside the kinetic field, but nowhere to go. Tornado comes way too late from mid-1 to help out.
He dies so fast, actually. He actually needs Hood so bad, but also finishing Crimson Guard is not that expensive. Just a mere 1,400 gold, so it's easier to pick that up, but it always seems like it's Bristle versus 5 heroes, and they're just completely surrounding him.
Yeah. So I was thinking, like, who do you even class as like MVP when VG.J continued to play like this? They're just a great one unit. Every single time you start with a Glimpse, you get your follow-up.
I think Freeze right now is just owning. He's 8-1-7 on Gyro. Feels like he's been in every fight. He's always there at the right time. I mean, DDCs, 0-1-15. Are you surprised at all? This guy's amazing support. These kinds of stats that he puts up consistently are just incredible. He like never dies. I feel like he almost never puts himself out of position. Like, that's like the support dream. If you're a 5 player and you see 0-1-15, that's like... That's like 0 deaths on the court.
I've done my job. And he's still got Tranquils and Wand.
Sylar's,
who need much more?
Sylar's 6-0-7. Like, everybody on VG.J is playing so well. But again, it is a lot of deaths on Secret side, but they're still retaining the farm.
Well, this Yapso knows there's a Sentry Ward. Unfortunately for him, that Sentry Ward just timed out.
And now it's basically the stage of the game where VG.J is just going to start snowballing and pushing towers.
Yeah.
So once all these towers start dropping, it's looking a little bit dangerous for Secret. Because again, we haven't seen any rotation kills out of Juggernaut, for example. We haven't seen an ability to stop these towers from dying. It's going to be a Glimpse.
Out. Yang jumps in, gets the clamp. They even glimpse back Fada. The Ice Blast will be nice, hitting onto Freeze and Sylar. But Fada's lost so much life, and so has Puppey. He was battling underneath the Spirit, and the flank and the damage spilled out. Yang will wait for the blink in 1 second time. He can't do it because of the cold feet, but it won't matter. Team Secret underneath their own tier 3 towers is dying. And just for good measure, VG.J put an Observer Ward on high ground. They can... It's 20 minutes in. If they want to, they can keep going. It's a 10-1-8 Gyro, a 6-0-10 Lycan. Team Secret have nothing to give.
Yeah,
at least Ace takes the tier 2 tower on top lane, so they're getting a counter push.
They did burn a glyph here. That's going to give Ace some time to hit buildings here.
That's true.
But they
Who's going to come back?
I mean, maybe they just won't. I mean, they could stay realistically
Here's the
Secret.
TP. It's Lycan. Ace. Well, Sylar is isolated there, and that's a level 2 Omni Slash, but he's now going to let it rip. Sylar underneath the tower. It's not enough damage to kill him off. So we run away. Ace continues the push, and now it's up to Team Secret. Cancel the pushes back. Allow Ace that time to do the damage into the rack, so the tier 3 tower will fall. He's now attacking into the range racks. Brewmaster, TP begins. Gyrocopter behind. The
he's taking a lot of damage.
Ace, the TP out! He'll get away to safety. Fade will not.
Okay, that's
and
not all bad.
Team Secret, they still lose their entire bottom lane of racks for this.
But considering how that looked at the start of them going high ground, it looked like the game was kind of about to be out of control for Secret. But Ace put himself in the right position, gets the tier 2, gets the tier 3, puts a little bit of damage on the range barracks, knowing that he's not going to have time to finish this. And great TP cancel by YapzOr as well to delay all that time. And considering how far behind they are, I think they're going to be happy with that one.
Yeah.
SNY picked up now in Jug, so he can actually walk around and fight a little bit better. And almost a BKB on Invoker. They've got to be happy about this position. They're finishing some major items. They lost to Rex, yes, but they got some good stuff in return.
And they got good ways to pushing back out again. Like Fada's great at clearing creep waves, so is the Juggernaut now with his Battle Fury. The Invoker, maybe not so much, but he's all about the team fight control and delay. So a good EMP Tornado, which haven't really been that effective so far in the game.
We have not seen it, but
yeah, but a good one would be nice.
Yeah, I mean, he can Tornado Waves. He's got 3 points in Exhort. So basically every level he gets from here on out is going to put him back into his comfort zone of abilities.
Yep. Is this the build you were hoping for as well? Like, was this the one which was...
No, the one that some player on, is it 5 Anchors, I think, played. He went Meteor Hammer, and then afterwards he earned Meteor Hammer, actually.
Yep, so... Well, he breaks the smoke gank at least, can stun, starts his TP, but the homing missile was already on his tail. That was optimistic TP, to say the least.
It's certainly a different build, and I would say it hasn't been very effective so far. But he's still kind of retaining decent net worth, and he does have an Orchid, potentially very useful here.
Ace is doing it again. The TP this time is coming into the shrine.
Oh,
and Sylar triggering his ulti form, and Ace spin TP. Starts it off. There won't be enough damage to kill Ace before he gets out, even though the crits did start coming fast.
That's really costly for Sylar here. I guess it's forcing his team back. They're going to have to take shrines. But, I mean, hypothetically, if he kills Jug there, that looks amazing. But Ace was feeling that one.
Yeah.
I don't even think the ward spotted him.
No, didn't.
So just read the game. Really nice play by Ace to back up there.
Just keeps the lanes pushed. Like, no one's forcing in top. Middle lane wasn't really being pressured hard. And they knew that VG.J didn't go into their own jungle. Like, they didn't go to the Dire jungle because the Observer was watching that. So they are able to put the math together. Might want to be a little bit careful pushing Ace out that far north. Right now, there is no defense. Puppy's a little bit further away, which makes Ice Blast effective.
I like what he did, though. He's basically moved to the top lane, put a ward down, grabbed a double set of Bounty Runes, which is a huge amount of gold for an AA at this point. I mean, he's got Ghost Scepter as well.
The dust. It hits on YapzOr. They keep burning those for this. Now, EMP Tornado. This one will be effective. It'll burn out the Gyrocopter and the ET. ET is actually bone dry.
That's good. Buys them a little bit of time here.
Yep. No splitter, no spam, and now they close the distance. Orchid onto the Brewmaster. They can't really slow him down, but Team Secret are coming closer towards their own shrine. So they'll be willing to fight VG.J in that position.
The first miss is guaranteed, basically, so it's hard for them to follow up on the Cold Snap there. Had to use a mana burn. With Phase Boots picked up on Brewmaster, he's actually really fast in these short bursts of movement.
VG.J are turning to fight. They just burn their own shrine to bring up their mana again. And Team Secret, they close their tier 2 tower at least.
The way they approach this is so important. Fada's in a great position here, breaks the smoke, Dust is used, they thought it was an Invis hero, and they absolutely played VG.J. They're going to take the fight, though.
Glimpse back into the Storm Wall. Where's the support? Where's the follow-up? And the Tornado may just be exactly that, surviving. But now Fada so low. All the protection, the world can't save him, and Ace can't do much more either. He burned his Omni Slash. Doesn't have enough life to survive everything. YapzOr at least get the stun out in the trees. TP will be successful. So he slows the attack, but Yang just goes underneath the tier 3 tower. Mid one, the Ice Blast is nice from Poppy. So is the Deafening Blast. Sylar's lost his dog form. YapzOr will be glimpsed away, but not before it gets a stun onto Sylar and the Orchid as well. Meteorite will drop. They need the damage to connect. It won't happen. Sylar, he will survive. And VG.J, at least that push is semi-stopped, but the bottom lane's in.
It's just really hard for them to fight through this. Fade's passive, the natural order, is just making all these hero kills so easy. Bristleback's walking around with 7 less armor, with only a cloak for magic resistance, and it just amplifies all of Thunder's damage so much that it makes Bristle just not survivable. Like, if Bristle can't survive these kinds of focuses, he's not a very good hero. That fight was the first one that looked kind of close. Every other fight has just been one-sided up until this point. And he needs to be tanky enough that that isn't an issue. Even Juggernaut, he gets an Omni Slash off and he has to run for his life because standing near the Elder Titan, he's got no armor. He had like probably 2 armor. All of his agility-based armor, it's gone. I don't even know if a Butterfly is the right move for Jug. I actually think he needs an AC this game against an Elder Titan. He has to just have raw armor. Evasion alone is not going to cut it.
And AC's going to take forever for him to farm up.
I mean, both items really do, but I think he's making a mistake here in his item build.
Gyrocopter just picked up a Silver Edge, so you're already talking about the issues of Bristleback. Yeah, he's lost. He's going to lose the protection.
Yeah. I think this is like the first time we've seen a Chinese team divert builds a little bit on Gyro, but it makes complete sense this game.
Yep.
A lot of good passives to bust.
Oh, middle lane. Father's revealing himself. There's a lot of Team Secret behind him, and the Spirit's starting to scout for it. Oh, the Tornado. They'll at least get the Orchid onto the Brewmaster, but Yang's already got a BKB. Ice Blast is nice, but they've already lost Father. Yang can be isolated. Ace is waiting if he wants to use the Omnislash or not. Mid one needs to survive.
Oh,
Yamsor's keeping everyone else controlled by the two cores. Spin and run away. But it's Yamsor who will have to stand his ground and die. Puppey will deny himself off to a neutral. Yamsor, okay, he didn't attempt the same thing with the Ancients, but 3 euros for Team Secret. Pushing up the daisies. I don't know if this defense is still possible. Unless really VG.J, actually they're going to go in and do Roshan. This will give time for at least Team Secret to reset.
I think it's a safe thing to do at the moment for Thunder. They're definitely convincingly winning team fights. They definitely have the damage advantage. Maybe they could have gone higher in there and taken 2 racks, but they're winning the fight so convincingly that like just grabbing an Aegis and a Cheese is so much safer. The item net worth continues to surge in Thunder's advantage.
Yeah, it's kind of been going on their way. For a long time, that was pretty even up until like the 17-minute mark, and then Thunder just turned it on. They got 14k advantage as far as experience goes, 12k for the net worth. It's a good day to be VG.J and a really poor day to be Team Secret, but they're trying to get some control back. Like this is ballsy from Puppey. He's looking for wards. He's got the Gem of True Sight on that Ancient Apparition, who we know is food, but they have to help. The glimpses on Ace. He already used his spin, gets caught in the Wall Storm, and Ace is dead for a full minute. The rest of Team Secret is nearby. The Ice Blast, no! Fade was still up in the air with the Yule Scepter, so it only gets the Chill Effect and Siler straight onto Puppey. Goes up to TP, but they just break it off him. No way to survive, and this may even just be the game right now. 3 heroes lost from Team Secret. VG.J just way too strong, and there is no answer in Team Secret.
They just went completely standard picks. Like, Brewmaster was not necessarily seen as the best offlane, but definitely a good pick in this game. Lycan slightly phasing out, but definitely a perfect game for it. I feel like they revealed their hand too much with the Invoker pick, and it also was doing something a little bit wacky, and it hasn't felt good. I just don't feel any good benefit out of mid one's hero. Maybe not any. Any is a bit strong, but between like Bristle, that's super countered by all the damage amplification, and the Gyro that has multiple damage types. It feels like too many Secret heroes are fighting an uphill battle, trying to struggle with their hero matchups. It's not necessarily farm levels, it's just the hero matchups are tough.
They go directly into split, send the Bristle back up, Juggernaut's up in 6 seconds time. He does have that Omnislash available as we're getting a little bit of lag. Carlet, Valve, take the coffee off the server.
I mean, even like the Gyro's build, I love the Gyro's build. He's rotated perfectly. He's gone Rocket Barrage talent, just wants to maximize his magic damage. Does like 900 magic damage with Rocket Barrage every 5.5 seconds. It's crazy. Does it like 1,000. 990 magic damage every Rocket Barrage. Nerf that shit.
Yeah,
it kills way too good.
Along with Sunder, when you get to it, that would be great. Thank you. I was actually really surprised with the most recent patch how many buffs there were to how many nerfs. Yeah. Love to actually see it. Like, is this the buff patch?
It was a lot of buffing talents that people don't choose on average. That's all it was, which is in some ways you can't see it as a buff because it's a buff that you can't necessarily take advantage of if the other perk's still better.
Is it like those new Aghanim Scepters where it's like, no one's ever going to get that?
Sort of, yeah. You could definitely look at it in a similar vein.
Well, Team Secret, it ain't looking good, to say the least. VG.J are being very clinical about this. They don't want to give any kind of opportunity to Team Secret to come back. Don't
blame him, man. This would give him a 2-0 advantage in the Swiss groups. That's a huge thing going forward. And they're pretty close to making Secret a 1-1 team.
Yeah. I should believe if you get 3-0, right, like you're straight in. Like you're going to be one of the first. There's 2 teams tomorrow who will actually be into the playoffs and avoid the last 2 days of group stage.
It's very dangerous to be at 1-1 for sure, because there is a potential of getting eliminated.
Yep.
Like, what if a really good team, like let's say Team Liquid goes 1-1. somebody's going to have to play them in the next round.
Yeah, they will.
Could be Secret here if they go 1-1. That could put them in a 1 or 2 position. They could be eliminated really early. It's pretty scary. I think I have the format right. Not 100% though.
I think you sound right, yeah.
Well, I probably always sound too confident about what I'm saying, but...
Oh, VG.J, they're coming in. Oh, that Observe Ward won't last long. The Sentry Ward's actually outside the base.
That's a good trade. I'll take that one.
Oh, Lincoln and Chaos Creation. This is just to buy Freeze as well as Silent the space to take off the ground and also do that. Bristleback, toast. The buyback comes in. Omnislash trying to clean up a lot. The Broomlings didn't really survive a lot, but Ace is dead. The damage onto him is too high. Poppy tries to get the Ice Bots up before death, but really it's so ineffective. Sylar finally burns the BKB. Remember, Freeze doesn't care about all of this. He's got Aegis the Immortal. He'll be back to World of the Living. Fada, however, this will be a dieback for him. Underneath the towers, way too much. GG indeed. 35-5. VG.J making quick work of Team Secret. It took a little bit before the steam train got out of the station, but at the 17-minute mark, it was all VG.J.
Did it? It's a 35-5 game. We only saw 5 total kills that Secret is able to grab.
They kept it even, man. As far as the net worth goes, you were saying, like, they at least keeping that even.
They did. It reminded me in some ways of the EG Liquid game. They lost the lanes, but it's like, hey, their net worth's kind of close. Maybe they can do something with this, but it never happened. No. And I think that's partially with their heroes. Bristleback does not translate to catching up. Invoker with that build has a hard time catching up. So basically they're reliant on Omnislash, Yapzor stuns from a Nyx Assassin, and maybe an Ice Blast. But you can't necessarily set that up easily by like keeping Puppey far away. So they basically would have had to rotate like 2 to 3 of those heroes to make every gank happen. Like if you go Bristleback lineup and he doesn't quite win his duel lane, and he starts getting like killed and bursted in team fights, then you are on the back foot. Yeah, so it's hard to catch up.
I can understand it in a way, like what they thought about by pushing Fada into that lane. They wanted to get into Lycan's face, but it just didn't work. Like, you look at these fights, and there was just so much power. Like, Freeze was 11-1-19 at the end of this game. Sylar was 12-0-14. The 2 huge cores were never really contested by Team Secret. They had all the momentum, so when it came to these fights, Secret had to work so hard, but they didn't have the damage. Mid-1 didn't have the control. Like, the comparison between Mid-1's control factor compared to Yang's was night and day.
Yeah, basically everybody on VG.J had fairly good survivability. They all did damage with the exception of maybe Disruptor. But all they needed was Glimpse in a couple positions, and they would get a kill every single time.
As you said, like all you had to have for DDC was to get that Glimpse off, and he's already done his job.
Yep, and almost always is on Bristle. They just had so much damage that it didn't matter. They just kill him. I still think slightly itemization for Fada. I think the Vanguard was absolutely needed against a hero like Lycan. But
the Solar Crest?
The Solar Crest, minimum he gets a Medallion and moves on. Or maybe he gets a Chainmail and then moves into Hood and then finishes Solar Crest. But if he would have had the Hood earlier, I feel like there was a couple fights that he maybe could have survived. Maybe he shouldn't have gone Nasal Goo as well. That could have maybe made a difference. Like, that's why so many players just go Quills and Armor and Bristleback, because they need to just make sure that they survive in these fights so that when they're focused, they can turn around and get some kills.
Yeah.
And it never happened. It's like felt like a useless Bristleback, and it certainly wasn't a whole lot that Fada could do to make up for that. Same with Mid-1. Like this was like his best team fight. Definitely blast into an Ice Wall. And where's the follow-up? There's nobody else that can deal damage. Just maybe they kill Lycan here.
Yeah, he's so low, but they don't have enough. Like he's orchid it, but there's no follow-up damage. But by that point, you lost your Bristle, you lost your Juggernaut. Like it's the tail end of the fight. So the combination at least stops the fight. But this happens. Like Brewmaster jumps in. Doesn't worry about Clap, doesn't worry about Split, takes Invoker out of the fight, they kill the Bristle, they move on to the next target. Like, VG.J, like, it's just such a well-executed game from them.
Like, the benefit, I think, was that they countered the Invoker and the Juggernaut in one fell swoop, basically. Yeah. They got these high physical damage heroes that laned well against Invoker, but this ultimately comes down to the fact that Quaswex Invoker is not a good laner. It is not a good laner. It has very low damage. Mid-1 missed many last hits that were free because he's just not used to the damage opportunity. Like the damage difference between having Exhort, it is very difficult to last hit on that hero. And if you don't do like impeccable, then you do not transition well into your faster phase boots, which means that like the whole laning stage, he just didn't have as much farm. And then the Quaswex build just doesn't farm as well anyways. So you basically have to make kills happen, and that requires a lot of team coordination. He didn't really have the heroes to do that.
The timing as well for to actually make those kills happen. Like the mid rotation, when they tried to go on the, like when Brewmaster rotated to the mid to get Mid-1 up and running. Like the second they brought in Yapzor was the same time that you saw like VG.J coming in with 2 heroes to also gank. So they were there for the gank. They were there to try and give them the advantage, but then it just didn't work. The timing always just seemed to be a little bit off.
It did, but I think they mostly fell flat on the lanes, I guess, is how I describe it. Like, there's actually no way that Invoker kills a Lycan in that lane by himself. You're barely going to out-damage his regen if you really focus on it. He automatically does like 10 more base damage from you at level 1. He's just going to deny you on every creep. Like, that 10 damage difference is massive with these top-tier players, especially when Lycan arguably has a better animation. So, like, that pick, the Lycan pick just instantly makes Omni-Slash useless, and it lanes well against Invoker. And it was basically, like, Secret. I think they thought that they had this, like, draft that was going to be great and provide solutions. And they picked the Invoker first, and then they picked the Juggernaut afterwards, and the Lycan just ruined a lot of that. A lot of things ruined it. Like, VG.J's draft was just effective at against secrets in so many ways, and they won the lanes. Is this hard to win?
Is this when we actually challenge our production and say, like, the man of the match is actually ROTK for the draft of VG.J?
Got any old pictures? I don't know what jersey he's wearing, but now it's for that. I mean, the draft was genuinely amazing, but there's still plenty of great stats to look at VG.J and say, like, these guys played amazing. Nobody died more than 2 times. Siler went 12-0 and 14. He had incredible GPM. Gyrocopter was in 30 kills this game, and he's a carry. Like, how do you even do that? His itemization adjusted. Like, everybody on VG.J played amazing. I got a 2-1 and 23 on the DDC support disruptor. Like, these guys all played their roles perfectly.
You're going to have the hard question. Like, I'm thinking right now it's Freeze, who's listed up as camera on that board, because he was really good during that game.
Yeah, the gyro.
But it's so hard. Good. Like I said halfway through the game, like VG.J was just such a great unit. Like, you're talking about like the changes in item builds, which they're all adapting to, but the way they would move, the way they would assault objectives, it's just so clean cut.
Yeah, I think it's probably Gyro to me. I feel like he was in every single fight.
It's Freeze.
He itemized the 15 talent to go Rocket Barrage over a more flat cannon. I think was perfect this game because all they needed to do was make sure they had more damage. The ability to kill the Bristleback synergizes well with Elder Titan. Like, I just love build switches that are perfect. I think I give him the MVP for that game. But it's hard. Everybody on VG.J played amazing that game.
Yeah, they really did. So like maybe we can just always do it. Like, it's like for a lot of these like 5v5 teams, you just say, you know, we can give it to like the guy who we think, at least as far as stats wise, is up there. So we'd say it to Freeze, and then a special mention for DDC. Because every support deserves respect.
Well, if DDC consistently puts out numbers like this guy's, I feel like he's one for the history books. I would say he's a little under the radar in some senses because sometimes he'll, you know what always happens? He joins an LGD team, and historically LGD teams own at TI, and then they suck the rest of the year. That's what always happens.
Is that only because like Zhao 8 rocks up?
I'm not sure, but DDC consistently will be on LGD teams. He like does well at TI, then the rest of the year he's like kind of in and out of top teams. I feel like we don't see him as much internationally at big tournaments as deserves his skill. But I feel like every time he's on a good team, he is playing so good. Definitely one of my favorite sports.
Production's going for DDC.
How could you? Freeze deserved that. How could you? He's amazing. But I think that Gyro deserved that MVP. They clearly were not listening to us.
Chill, Kevin. Chill.
He's so good, though.
It's okay.
He's so good.
It's okay. A man that can get MVP when he has, like... Actually, he put Spirit Vessel at the end of all of this. There wasn't even a chance for regeneration.
Yeah. I mean,
oh, boy. That's
a good Spirit Vessel game as well against Bristleback. Like, it's another one of his counters. Just limits the hero. Yeah. Tough game for Secret, though.
Great itemization. You're right. It really is a tough game for Secret. But... the advantage is they still won their first round matchup, so they go 1-1. Yes, it does bring them into that mid-round area, so they're not safe by any means inside the Swiss format. But it's nice that they at least have the extra lifeline still. But it's great for VG.J because now we have EG, TNC, and VG.J as our top 3 coming out of the Swiss bracket, and with one more game to go, which is Newbie OG, which is coming up next.
Yeah, I think this was a game that Secret went for the strategy that they thought that they planned out, that they thought would be good, and they've clearly made some opening mistakes. Like the Nyx Assassin opening, I think it's all right. It's certainly a little exploitable by physical damage. Nyx doesn't seem as strong lately, maybe because teams are just getting really good at controlling invisible heroes that are scouting the map.
Yep.
But I felt like VG.J didn't do anything too weird. They reacted perfectly to the draft that was in front of them. Maybe Secret had some gimmies with the whole Invoker Jug thing. Maybe both counterable in similar ways. But
I wonder if they actually intended something else. Like, was there a ban that happened throughout the draft where it's like, okay, maybe they just lost their way a little bit?
I mean, remember what Secret did? They were planning to pick Invoker. Probably they banned out 2 heroes that are pretty good against Invoker, TA, as well as the Storm, which would have been hard to deal with from the sports position, as well as the Invoker.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden it became, so it's basically like 2 heroes and a pick that's counterable. Like, I feel like this is like, to me, this looks like they're trying too hard to make this work, and it's just not quite ready. The laning is too tough. He didn't go Meteor Hammer, which is fine. You can maybe go Orchid, but it was also delayed. It's just like, it's too hard. Every time I played this a lot in the last week, and I'm a terrible Invoker, and it felt like I was trying to make something bad work, basically. Obviously, very different when you put mid one on, but if mid one can't make that work,
maybe there's a lesson to be learned from that one. But at least the lesson on this front is that Team Secret go down and VG.J move forward,
and they are really good.
Yeah, they're looking
really good.
They're looking fantastic. Yeah. I can't wait to see who's going to join them in that winning part. Who will be part of the top 4? Newbie, a big team going up against OG, will be our next matchup. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back after the break.
Ready. Steady. Game on.